Between the Ropes, I'm Hunter Dietz. This is Colt Powers, an on-the-go media production. Colt, wanted to talk to you a little bit. You went to Twin Cities Con this past weekend. What was some of your experience with that?
Twin Cities Con, Minneapolis, and it was a 3-day con. I was only able to get there for 1 day. For us, it's roughly a 2.5 hour trip up there. So this was the first con that accepted me for a press pass. So that I was very excited about that.
Great news.
A lot of cons so far seem to want some history, and it's very hard to have history when you're trying to get something up and rolling. So
That's what we're doing here right now. We're making history.
we're making history. So these guys accepted me for a press pass. So again, thank you to Twin Cities Con for that. That was very exciting. My youngest son wanted to go too, and we're anime fans, and so he had some anime voice actors that were going to be up there. So he's like, "Hey, can I come too?" And I said, "Absolutely." So we drove up Saturday morning. My big thing I was most excited for was Sting was going to be there. I make no bones about it. Sting is probably one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. Between him and Triple H, don't ask me which one's my favorite, because I don't know if I could choose. I'd probably lean a little more towards Sting just for longevity. But yeah, Sting being one of my all-time favorites. He was on his, or is currently on his final tour he's doing. He retired with AEW in March of last year, I believe.
That's right, yep.
And so he's doing his last time in Paint tour, 2025 or Never tour. So he's hitting a bunch of places. Did not realize until I got there he was only going to be there for a very short. I knew he was going to be there for a day. I didn't realize how short the window was. So he arrived at 11. Probably, I think he walked into where we could see him at 11:04, and he was supposed to be there till 2. And that it was supposed to be a hard cutoff at 2, as he had a plane to catch to get to the Rhode Island Comic Con on Sunday. And so very short window. They didn't allow any time for interviews for press or anything because of that short window. So not a problem. It's great. I just wanted to meet him. So get there, and we walk in. We're there just after they opened up the con. So we were able to pretty much just walk in and grab our press passes, or my press pass anyway. And my son went his way, and I thought, well, I'm going to go find where Sting is, so that way at least I know. I walked down there, and the line for Sting was a mile long already, snaking in and out, and I'm like, oh man. Thought I'll wait till later to jump in the line. At this point I did not know he was only there till 2. So I thought I'll wait till later, and I met with a handler because having a press pass, I didn't know my rules, because this area where all the celebrities are, it says no cameras, no photography, no video, but I have a press pass. So I wanted to clear things up. So I was talking with one, and I said, well, I'm going to be back later to meet with Sting. And they said, you might want to get in line now. He's only here till 2. And I thought, oh. So I spent several hours from when we first got there till I finally got to meet him in line, because if I hadn't, they said there's a hard cutoff at 2. Sting was very good. He waited till everybody got through at 2:30.
So his handler told him, you got to be out of here at 2, and Sting said, I'd rather be here with the fans.
Sting said he was going to get through all the fans. So they...
What a guy.
That's kind of what I thought. Sting being, man of the people, I'll say. He wanted to get through everybody, because when I talked to the handlers, they said he's a hard cutoff at 2. So they said, if you're not in line, you may not meet him. And I thought, I wanted to be safe than sorry, and standing in line, I wish I would have gotten the gentleman's name, but I stood in line with him and his son. His son was Christian, and his name was Christian.
Yeah.
But very nice kid, very nice young man. He knew his facts.
Did he?
And he rattled stuff off. Like, he knew Sting's age. He knew the retirement date. He knew, and he started just, I think whatever he watches, he absorbs.
Sure.
And he could tell dates. He could tell, he knew a lot of stuff. So it was very fun and interesting. talking with these guys in line, and it made the time go by a lot better. And most fans, when you get into this stuff, they're very good, and they, pretty talkative, and you can strike up some friendships pretty quick. So
Well, it's interesting you say that because I've found that the worst part of going to any wrestling show is wrestling fans. And so I would think that would only be more concentrated at a con. But you're saying that here, these guys were on their best behavior.
these guys were on their best behavior. I will say, I didn't see anybody get upset like in a bad way, but I will say some fans that showed up a little bit later were a little more upset because they put a hard cutoff on the line.
Yeah.
They did. I mean, the people that were in line, Sting got through, but the handlers were saying, yeah, we're not accepting any more people in line. So if you didn't get there early, you may have been SOL. I mean, they did a hard cutoff. They had a guy standing there saying, hey, no more in line. So
Man,
that was, if you got there later thinking, oh, he's here all day, you were probably SOL.
when you go to meet these wrestlers and everything, make sure you show up very shortly after the time they announce they're going to be there, because there's always long lines, and it's just better to know, okay, I'm going to get to see who I want to see first.
Yeah.
And I can get it out of the way, because sometimes they do have these hard cutoffs or things come up, and
Yep.
and they've got to leave early. So yeah, I'm really glad that you got to meet Sting. I mean, we're showing some pictures on screen right now
Yep.
of the con and everything. Someone else though that you met at the con, I believe you got to meet Mick Foley.
I did get to talk to Mick Foley.
And was this your first time meeting him?
That was my first time meeting him. Had a friend that's here in town, Pat. He has met Foley several times beforehand, and actually Pat, giving him a shout out that he has gotten me some autographs from some wrestlers before. He got me Sergeant Slaughter and Mick Foley, and he's done some other ones for me as well. And so I already had the autograph from Mick, but I've never myself gotten to meet him. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to at least get the photo with him. So you'll be able to see that photo here too. But yeah, getting to meet the hardcore legend Mick Foley.
That's Colt. Was there anything else you want to touch on with the con before I segue here?
Other than, I mean, just I got to have a good conversation with Sting. Handlers, when you go to these cons, if you're looking for anything additional and stuff, it's for one, you need to talk to people and talk to them first to find out what is and what isn't allowed, because I was ready to just go up and film and do my thing since I had the press pass, thinking to some degree the press pass gives you kind of some free reign.
You get a little bit of leeway with what you can do.
Yeah, and
not necessarily
that's
the case.
not necessarily the case. And everyone that you talk to is probably going to give you a different answer. I will say that if I was going to communicate anything to Twin Cities Con, I would say all of the con workers need to have the same information, because I talked to one and yes, this is completely fine. And I talked to another and you cannot do that. It's like, whoa, I'm not trying to upset anybody here.
It'd be nice when you get approved for the press pass if they just sent an email with, here's what you can and can't do, or something along
And then
those
everybody
lines.
else knew
and
that
everybody
as well,
knew
and-
that, and then you could just be on the same page. Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that you had mostly a positive experience.
I mean, yeah, I can't say a lot of bad things. I will, Sting, like I said, getting to see him again. I met him in 2018 at Planet Comic Con in Kansas City. This time, getting to talk to him again on his final run, it was really nice. I did show him, and I we'll see if we can put that up here too. My first pro wrestling show was I told you I found my ticket.
Oh, okay, you did.
I'll show that to you, and we'll see if we can get it up here.
Sure.
But it was just a house show for WCW Vets Auditorium back in 1999,
Wow.
and the main event was Sting versus Ric Flair. Sting went over. And so I did bring that and show Sting. I said, this was the first time I got to see you live. And so a little blast from the past.
Did he think that was pretty cool? That
He
you
did.
still had
He
that
really
stuff
did think that was cool. I told him, I said, this is probably, other than now my signed stuff from him, that's probably one of my favorite, I'll say keepsakes.
Sure.
From anything, just because it's Sting. It's my first wrestling show, and it was Sting.